It's so interesting that now that when these big companies are doing their quarterly reports and things like that, they're actually bringing up the opportunity and possibilities of being bought out. And it was very interesting that Ubisoft in particular was talking about this. And I also think that it's very interesting because previously there had already been rumors that Ubisoft would be ripe for a takeover. And the reason being, obviously, is the same type of situation that Microsoft found themselves in with Activision, being that Ubisoft, very much like Activision, is going through a bit of a crisis where, at least at this particular point, there's a lot of allegations, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. It seems like a very toxic workplace, and they're having trouble producing any games lately. And not only that, but the games that they are producing seem to have the same cut and paste type situation where gamers are growing a little bit tiresome of it. You have games like Skull and Bones that has been in development hell. You have, Good Beyond Good and Evil 2 development hell. All this stuff is going on, and it really leaves them ripe for takeover. And they're not even worth as much as people would maybe believe, under $10 billion, which is a steal if you think about it. And right now it seems like everybody's talking about this, what's going to happen next. When you have these issues with a developer where, it's a bad place to have a job, where workers feel like they're not being seen, when they're not being heard, when they're just part of a factory line, that's not good for the industry. That's not good for anybody. And much the way that Activision had Call of Duty sort of sitting there being this game that all their developers were working on. Ubisoft is the same way when it comes to stuff like Assassin's Creed, where they have literally thousands of developers working to pump these games out. And I used to like the Assassin's Creed games. Originally, they were such good games, and now they've kind of morphed into something of a games as a service, which, there's a little bit too much content there. I know that's probably something that some people think is ridiculous, but, at the end of the day, I think that it's going to be something that's work out well for everybody. But this is the latest bit of information and news around it. It sounds like it's going to be something that you guys are going to want to hear, so I can't wait to get into it. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer, and of course, this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, and hopefully that doesn't stop you from giving us a like, and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. I know how absolutely busy everybody is, and I'm so appreciative. If you do watch the videos, please leave a like. It helps the videos to be seen. It helps the channels to be seen. I would be very much appreciative if you guys could do that for me. And if you do subscribe, which you don't have to, but if you do, please hit the bell and click that you notify for everything. Otherwise, you don't get the content notifications, and it's like I'm doing the content for nobody, so that's no fun. Hopefully, you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. Thank you guys very much for rocking out with me. So, Ubisoft is talking about wanting to be acquired, and they're also talking about some other things as well. During Ubisoft's Quarter 3 2022 earnings call, Yves Guillemot commented on the recent industry acquisitions, chiefly Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard and Sony acquiring Bungie, and he seemed to be pretty interested on the chance of Ubisoft staying independent or getting purchased, hinting that both are possibilities. He says, and I quote, "We are always making our decision in the interest of our stakeholders, which are our employees, players, and shareholders. Ubisoft can remain independent. We have the talent, the industry scale, and a large portfolio of popular IP, as you saw in the press release. Our IPs are sought after by the biggest global players in entertainment and tech. Adding to that, if there were an offer to buy us, the board of directors would, of course, review it in the interest of all stakeholders. Ubisoft is currently valued at $5.7 billion, according to Yahoo Finance." So, think about this for a second. Sony paid $3.6 billion for Bungie, right, who own one IP and is one studio, but they could have got Ubisoft for a couple billion more and own a ton of studios and a ton of IP, Rainbow Six. Look, listen, here's the thing, right? And this is why it makes sense, and there's rumors surrounding Sony doing this, right? Sony wants to get into the live service game situation, right? They do. They want to get into the live service game world. And who's doing live service games more than anybody right now? Well, you bet your sweet bippy it's it's Ubisoft, right? They turned Assassin's Creed into a live service game. That Skull and Bones game is a live service game. Rainbow Six, they're supposedly making a new, a new game that's going to also be, all that stuff. The Division, that stuff is all basically games that's kind of games as a service meant to keep people coming back, and that's exactly what Sony's been asking for and wanting. And so yes, they're going to continue to do that stuff, and they're going to continue to make these type of games and things like that. I think that it makes just a ton of sense that this kind of stuff is happening, and fans just in general are basically kind of just going out there and just realizing how absolute crazy all of this type of situation is with gaming and purchase possibilities. And I know that people maybe get tired of hearing about this stuff, and I understand that. But when they're talking about the possibility of getting bought out, hopefully you guys understand why I'm covering this kind of stuff. So the publisher also confirmed that the lineup for its next fiscal year: Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, Mario, plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, and even Skull and Bones. During the earnings call, Chief Financial Officer expressed satisfaction at the game's progress at long last. He said, "It's a very promising new IP focusing on multiplayer first. So very consistent with our strategy of bringing multiplayer competition and co-op first in a big open world with a great attractive fantasy. That's of course a longer development time than we've had on the game, but we're very happy with the artistic direction and the progress that the game has made so far." It's always funny to me that years ago this game was brought up as a killer to Sea of Thieves, and it really just ended up not being anything like that. And it's really just kind of a shame that that happened, because I think the game could be fun, but the whole thing was really brought about because people love playing Assassin's Creed 4, right? And they love playing Assassin's Creed 4 and doing the boat parts. And so what happened, right? What happened? It's crazy to see that, people, they know that people love doing that, playing that type of Assassin's Creed, and then they strip that away. I don't know. For me, that just doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. But it does make sense, and Sony has over $10 billion still in hand, so for Sony to buy, I think that does make sense. But I also think that it might take something like that. Like, this is the thing, right? And I don't know if they would make everything exclusive or what have you. Probably not. But at the same time, you have to figure that what Microsoft is doing for Activision is changing the culture there and making it a place to work. I know people don't understand this or believe me when I say this, but it's not healthy to have a place like that where nobody wants to work. In a few years' time, nobody, the quality of Call of Duty would continue to suffer. Developers aren't happy. Developers don't want to work there. It's really a bad situation for pretty much everybody involved. And Microsoft is going to bring some change to that, thankfully. That's something that I feel like obviously will happen. And not only will that happen, but we're also going to see a situation where we're going to see change with the developers allowed to develop games outside of that. And I think that's a great thing. I think that's a fantastic thing for everybody involved. Now, I think people are going to want to work there again because of the environment, because of Microsoft, and that's a great thing. When it comes to Sony, if they were to buy Ubisoft, that would be a great thing. They would bring that sort of, that happiness of going to like Sony is a great place to work according to developers, so they would love it. They would bring great developments back in there, maybe bring some of the older games back. It would be a win-win-win across the board. So yeah, this is definitely something that's really cool. And again, I think that Skull and Bones obviously had a troubled development, would be an understatement, since Ubisoft Singapore started working on the game all the way back in 2013, inspired by Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag's naval battle, according to this article, which I will link in the description below. Skull and Bones was actually announced at E3 2017 with a proposed launch window set for 2018, but repeated delays have led fans to believe the game might never launch. With this new statement, it looks like there's hope yet for a 2023 launch. So yeah, very interesting stuff. What do you guys think about this? Would you like to see Sony go out there and pick up this company, maybe change the work ethic, change some things around? I think that that's something that all of us could possibly agree on, that we'd love to see. Love to see some changes, and love to see some things happen where, Microsoft and Sony, and we want to see all these companies do well, and the industry needs these companies to be healthy. I think that's the most important thing. So, with that being said, let me know what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe, rack them up, fact them up, Crap Gamer them up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.